I'm curious what you imagine your life would have been like had you not discovered art and creativity, and if there's a specific moment in your lives you can pinpoint where art really has mattered to you and made a difference for you.
Well, I think it would be back when I started acting in Chicago. I wasn't very good, and I remember my first experience on the stage. I was so bad I just walked out on the street and started walking. And I walked for a couple of hours, and I realized I'd walked the wrong direction. Not just the wrong direction in terms of where I live, but the wrong direction in terms of a desire to stay alive. And so this may be a little bit not completely true, but it's pretty true that I walked. I then thought, well, if I'm going to die where I am, I may as well just go over towards the lake, and maybe I'll float for a while after I'm dead. So I walked over towards the lake, and as I got there, I realized I'd hit Michigan Avenue. And I thought, well, Michigan Avenue, that runs north too. And so I started walking north, and I ended up in front of the Art Institute of Chicago. And I just walked inside, and I didn't feel like I had any place being there. And they used to ask you for a donation, you know, when you walk into a museum, and I just walked right through because I was ready to die and pretty much dead. And I walked in, and there's a painting there. And I don't even know who painted it, but I think it's called The Song of the Lark. And it's a woman working in a field, and there's a sunrise behind her. And I've always loved this painting. And I saw it that day, and I just thought, well, look, there's a girl who doesn't have a whole lot of prospects, but the sun's coming up anyway, and she's got another chance at it. So I think that gave me some sort of feeling that I too am a person and get another chance every day the sun comes up.
Welcome everyone, episode number 211 of The State of Fitness. Today is May 22nd, if I've got it right, 2024. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing well. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. I am David Greenwalt. I'm the founder of Leanness Lifestyle University. For 25 years now and counting, since 1999, we've been using science and now a lot of experience to help our clients get to and live at the healthy weight they choose in the body and with the fitness they desire so they can live their best life. For first timers on these states of fitness, I discuss anything weight management oriented, health, fitness, you name it, that I think you might be interested in that's top of mind for the week. This state of fitness is my 211th since February 5th of 2020. Let's see what some of our top students are doing, shall we? There's some really cool things going on with you guys. So here we go. All right, pounds lost in the last 6 weeks, cut it off at 10 pounds. All of these students have lost at least 10 pounds in the last 6 weeks. So congratulations to everyone here. We've got the top 5 for this week are Deb L at 12.7 pounds, Jessica at 13.2, Therese at 14.1, Rob at 16.3, and Brian at 17 pounds gone in the last 6 weeks. Way to go, everyone. Outstanding work. Congratulations, Brian, for being top of the class this week. Let's go to percent of weight lost in the last 6 weeks. I cut it off at about 5%. So we've got Aaron down there at 4.9, and the top 5 are Michelle and Rob tied for 6.2% gone in the last 6 weeks. Deb at 6.3, Marty at 6.5, and Brian at 7.2%. Again, top of the class, Brian, 7.2% gone in the last 6 weeks, more than 1% a week. You get close to 1% a week, you're getting after it. You are getting after it. So way to go, everybody. This is our maintainers list. Students that are actively enrolled, current, and they are maintaining their lifetime goal. They've achieved their lifetime goal, and they've kept the weight off for the number of days you see in the days column, and they've kept off the amount of weight you see in the weight lost column. The students in green have kept their weight off for at least a year. Congratulations, Cynthia C, for reaching that new milestone of a year there. Cynthia C over there in the green at 367 days. Way to go. The students in orange have kept their weight off for at least 2 years, and they are what we call master's students. They've earned their master's in personal transformation. So they've earned their master's, and they're what we call PhD candidates. And the students in blue are full-fledged PhD recipients, which means they've kept their weight off for 4 consecutive years. So Mike's coming up here. He's got about, Mike, what do you got? About another 30-some days, and you're going to be a PhD, so outstanding. Randall over there at 730 days, he'll have his master's, so about 12 days to go. Another couple weeks, and Randall will be there. So way to go, everyone. Outstanding work. Really proud of you, and thank you, as always, for continuing to inspire us all and show us that it can be done. Let's see. So this is just a variety of students. It's just really cool, and I want to highlight them. So hopefully this will just kind of be like a movie credits roll as I go through these with you. Okay, so let's check out and see who's doing what, hopefully. Sherry F. is at a season low. She's at her lowest weight in the past 90 days. Deb L. has achieved 5-week goal number 33. Jamie G. has achieved her 5th 5-week goal. Marion D. is less than 5 pounds to go until she's a junior. Marion is also at a season low in the past 90 days. Marty graduated from Lifestyle 180. Congratulations. Serena is a master's candidate and has maintained within 10 pounds of her upper limit for the last 30 plus days. Sharon G. is closing in on her master's candidate level. Achievement of lifetime goal is less than 10 pounds away. Awesome. Susan L. is a master's candidate level. She has achieved that now. She's achieved her lifetime goal. Congratulations, Susan. She's now a master's candidate because she has achieved her lifetime goal, and that's recent. And then Troy R. has graduated from Lifestyle 180. Congratulations, Troy. You and wife Marty, way to go. And then Cynthia C. is a master's candidate, and she's been maintaining within 10 pounds of her upper limit of lifetime goal for a whole year, as I mentioned her on the maintainers list. A whole year now, 367 days. So isn't that cool? Way to go, everyone. Outstanding. I love highlighting the students for what they are achieving. Congratulations on doing the work and getting to live with these new levels of achievement. We had some posts on Facebook. Wendy ran a triathlon and then decided, a good way to recover from the triathlon would be to go rock climbing. So this is Wendy rock climbing. Wendy's down 35, 40 pounds with us and has just done outstanding. So congratulations, Wendy, and thank you for sharing. Congratulations on running the triathlon with your daughter and being able to enjoy that and being able to enjoy things like this. So cool. Thank you for sharing. And we've got Kimberly, who posted a sweaty selfie. She rode 10,000 meters this day that she posted this. And she wrote, I stayed red for hours afterwards. I bet you did. I also achieved my 2 million meter milestone. Wow, 2 million meters rode. She rows on a Hydro. That's the brand she rows on. Loves it. And she said that they're going to award her a baseball cap for the accomplishment. And she said, as always, compared to others, there's people on there that have millions and millions and millions of meters rode. So she's got a ways to go before she catches up with them. But compare ourselves to ourselves yesterday, right, Kimberly? And you're getting better and better, and I'm so glad that you found something that you love like that. It makes it much more enjoyable, much more likely that it's going to happen too. So way to go. Thank you for sharing. All right, I want to invite everyone to do the Murph Hero workout. Do it anytime in the next 2 weeks. Do it anytime, but especially in the next 2 weeks. We do it each year in memory of Lieutenant Michael Murphy. He was a Navy SEAL, was killed in action at age 29. He's from New York. He was killed in Afghanistan. I'm sorry, he was killed in Afghanistan, June 28th of 2005. He was 29. The workout, the Murph, was one of Mike's favorites, and he named it Body Armor. The Murph Challenge is an annual tradition that helps us push and humble us and allows us the opportunity to dedicate a bit of pain and sweat to honor a man who sacrificed everything he had for our freedom. The true version of Murph, the RX version as we say, the prescribed version, is 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then a mile run. So the bookends are mile run on each end, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, all while wearing a 20-pound vest. Now, 95% of those who do it each year will do what we call scale it. They'll scale it. and that just means the movements will be modified to fit the skill and fitness level and abilities of each individual. Okay, so it's perfectly fine to scale it. All sweat is equal, and scaling is a fantastic thing that we should do and get to do to make workouts like this doable by all of us. I'll be scaling it. I'll be riding an air bike for a 5K instead of running the mile. I'm going to do jumping pull-ups instead of regular pull-ups, something I started last year, something I want to continue doing for the next 10 years, and just see how I can do for the next 10 years for my time. What's important is remembering, honoring, and suffering in sweat with what has now become this tradition across thousands of gyms each Memorial Day period. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people from every walk of life will do a version of the Murph somewhere near Memorial Day. So if you're on our Facebook group, these images and more are there. There's 10 all in. I've already got 10 versions laid out that kind of help you see what scaling options there might be. And if you need ideas for a workout, just send me a note. I'll help you out. There's a way literally for anyone of any skill level to participate. Okay? The Murph. Hopefully you'll join in. All right. So for this week, I want to discuss boosting GLP-1 naturally, potentially, with fiber. The newest drugs taking the weight loss world by storm right now are most commonly referred to as Ozempic, Wegovy, Trulicity, and Mounjaro. All these drugs are GLP-1 or glucagon-like peptide-1 receptor agonist drugs. These drugs work by mimicking the GLP-1 hormone, which has several powerful effects on the body. Okay? So they're typically given as a shot once a week. Varies, but that's typically how it's done. I'm not going to get into all the biochemical actions and everything that they do as far as how they work, but I'll touch on some of that in this presentation. With respect to weight loss, these drugs can obliterate appetite. They do not do that for everyone. They do not work for everyone. There's a percentage of people that, like any drug, they're going to work for. That's why we have 10 different pain relievers. Tylenol works for somebody, but ibuprofen works for someone else, and Aleve works for someone else, and aspirin works for someone else, and on and on and on. Not much difference here with these. There's quite a variety of outcomes, quite a variety of impact and effects these drugs have on the variety of people that we are. But they can obliterate appetite in certain people, and that's and in doing that, they can quiet the incessant processed food addiction noise and help people feel full longer. Okay, it definitely can help quiet that processed food addicted noise and obliterate the appetite in certain people. If they work for you without side effects, they can be a game changer. As of June 2024, based on my deep research into population studies of usage of these drugs, there are, I think, 1 or 2 handfuls of people who aren't taking these drugs. I think there's upwards of 10, maybe 20 people all in who aren't taking these drugs in the United States. Okay, so if you're among the 10 who aren't taking these drugs, this presentation is for you. I'm kind of kidding, barely. Let me rephrase. There's a handful of people who aren't thrilled about the idea of taking these medications. So let's say that you want the GLP-1 effects, you want your appetite obliterated, you want to quiet the processed food addiction noise, you want that, but you don't want to do the drugs. Maybe you prefer a natural approach to boosting GLP-1 or just getting in better shape. Or you're concerned about the potential side effects of these drugs, such as nausea, vomiting, muscle wasting, gallstones, pancreatitis, and hair loss, just to name a few. So let's get into it. So what about boosting GLP-1 activity with something incredibly healthy and natural? How about good old fiber? Well, let's dive into how fiber might be the natural way to curb your appetite and manage weight. Can fiber really give you the same results as drugs? Let's get into it. Fiber, especially certain types of soluble fiber, can have similar effects on GLP-1 levels, but can fiber really give you the same results as the drugs? Well, here we go. So what types of fiber are best suited for increasing GLP-1? We've got beta-glucan. It's found in oats and barley. Beta-glucan is a soluble fiber that has been shown to increase GLP-1 levels. It forms a gel-like substance in your small intestine, which slows down digestion and prolongs the feeling of fullness, leading to a more gradual release of glucose and stimulating GLP-1 secretion. So, start your day with a small bowl of oatmeal and a side of egg whites and egg with any vegetable. Overnight oats, quick oats, slow cook oats, do not care. Oats are rich in beta-glucan, the eggs are high in protein, and the combination can help keep you satisfied until your next feeding. Like everything else, your mileage may vary because not every single combination of every food works the same for everyone. It just is what it is. Got to figure out what works for you for improving satiety and fullness. But this is good, sound guidance based on all available evidence and mechanisms of action. Remember, besides fiber, another proven way to increase satiety for fewer calories is to increase your protein intake. So protein is highly satiating and can help you feel fuller for longer, which can naturally reduce your calorie intake, which is why I recommended, the oats with some eggs and vegetables. All right. Inulin. This is another type of soluble fiber found in foods like chicory root, garlic, onions, and asparagus. Inulin can boost GLP-1 activity and also improve gut health by feeding beneficial bacteria in the large intestine. These bacteria play a role in producing short-chain fatty acids, which can enhance GLP-1 secretion. So add garlic, onions, asparagus to your meals for an inulin boost. These vegetables are versatile and can be included in many dishes. Next up, pectin, commonly found in fruits like apples and pears. Pectin also works in the small intestine to increase GLP-1 secretion and help you feel fuller longer. So keep apples and pears handy for a quick snack. They're high in pectin, low in calories. What about fiber supplements? Well, if you're struggling to get enough fiber from food alone, consider supplements like psyllium husk or glucosamine. These can be added to water or smoothies and are excellent sources of soluble fiber. So why psyllium and glucosamine? Well, psyllium husk and glucosamine are particularly effective for appetite control and potentially boosting GLP-1 activity because they form a thick gel in the stomach and small intestine, which slows digestion and prolongs satiety. Psyllium has been shown to reduce appetite and improve blood sugar control, while glucosamine is highly effective at absorbing water and expanding in the stomach, leading to a prolonged feeling of fullness. So a little reality check here. Will eating more fiber-rich foods give you the same effects as the GLP-1 drugs if the GLP-1 drugs work at their highest level for you? Mostly no. The effects of fiber on GLP-1 and appetite control are more subtle compared to the potent impact of the drugs, as are most things that are natural compared to the concentrated, active mechanisms of action of drugs. So it's more subtle, not going to be as profound on appetite control. However, fiber-rich foods aren't likely to cause nausea, vomiting, muscle wasting, gallstones, pancreatitis, hair loss. And increasing your fiber intake is a positive for almost everyone. Now, GLP-1 has a very short half-life, typically lasting just a few minutes. So you go, well, someone takes a shot with a semaglutide-based, one of these miracle drugs, and someone takes a shot and it lasts all week, but GLP-1 has a very short half-life. How does that happen? Well, let me first say that with GLP-1 having a very short half-life, only lasting a few minutes in the body, its natural effects, GLP-1's effects on blood sugar control and appetite, are short-lived. The drugs, the semaglutide and tirzepatide-based drugs, counter this by having a much longer half-life, allowing them to sustain GLP-1 activity for days, providing continuous appetite suppression and blood sugar regulation. So fiber, on the other hand, works differently, as we might suspect. The GLP-1 boosting effects of fiber are also short-lived because GLP-1 only lasts a few minutes in the body. And the impact of fiber on GLP-1 is going to be more short-lived, but not necessarily entirely short-lived. So just stay with me a second here. Because of the slowing down of digestion and all the impact there, we can have a more prolonged effect. So just stay with me a second here. So beyond GLP-1, because fiber isn't just going to impact with regard to satiety and fullness and hunger activity, it's not going to just impact GLP-1 for appetite control. Several other hormones and chemicals are impacted by fiber intake, and these chemicals and hormones play a significant role in promoting satiety. Let's take a look at this, hopefully. Yeah, looks like we're good. So peptide YY, or PYY, this is released by the intestines in response to eating, particularly after consuming high fiber foods. It reduces appetite, PYY does, by slowing down gastric emptying and signaling the brain to induce feelings of fullness. Soluble fibers, which form a gel-like substance in the gut, are particularly effective at increasing PYY levels. I think this is pronounced cholecystokinin or cystokinin. I've heard it pronounced about 3 different ways in doing the research for this. But CCK is a hormone released by the small intestine in response to food intake, especially fats and proteins. It promotes satiety by slowing gastric emptying and stimulating the digestion of fats and proteins. So what impact does fiber have on this? Well, high fiber foods can enhance the release of CCK, thereby promoting feelings of fullness and reducing food intake. Ghrelin is often referred to as the hunger hormone because it stimulates appetite. It is primarily released in the stomach and signals the brain to increase hunger. So what impact does fiber have on that? Well, dietary fiber can help lower ghrelin levels after meals, thereby reducing the sensation of hunger and prolonging satiety. Short-chain fatty acids. What are their function? Well, short-chain fatty acids such as acetate, propionate, and butyrate are produced by the fermentation of dietary fibers in the large intestine. Short-chain fatty acids have various beneficial effects, including enhancing gut health and regulating energy metabolism. What's the impact of fiber on short-chain fatty acids? Well, fermentable fibers like inulin and resistant starch are particularly effective at increasing the production of short-chain fatty acids, which can also influence the release of satiety hormones like GLP-1 and PYY. And we've got insulin up next. Insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that helps regulate blood sugar levels. It also has a role in signaling satiety to the brain. What's the impact of fiber on insulin? Well, high fiber diets, particularly those rich in soluble fiber, can improve insulin sensitivity and stabilize blood sugar levels, which in turn can help regulate hunger and satiety. And leptin. Leptin is a hormone produced by adipose fat tissue that helps regulate energy balance by inhibiting hunger. So it inhibits hunger. It signals the brain to reduce food intake when energy stores are sufficient. What's the impact of fiber on leptin? Well, fiber does not directly affect leptin levels. A high fiber diet can aid in weight management, which in turn can help maintain healthy leptin sensitivity and signaling. Pretty complex stuff all in all, but let's talk about how we can optimize our nutrition plan to extend the effects of fiber. Well, frequent fiber-rich meals. Incorporating high-fiber foods in every meal to maintain a steady release of GLP-1 and these other hormones we talked about, and impacting these other hormones and chemicals, but a steady release of GLP-1 throughout the day. Combination of fiber with protein, pairing fiber like vegetables, some fruit, a bit of whole grains and legumes with protein can enhance satiety and prolong the feeling of fullness, helping you manage appetite more effectively. Eat a variety of fiber. Don't look for a single bullet. It's not a single type of fiber. Use a mix of, most whole foods, by the way, are a combination, a mix of soluble and insoluble fibers anyway. But use a mix of soluble and insoluble fibers to get the benefits of both short-term GLP-1 boosts and long-term gut health improvements. We'll talk about the second meal effect for just a second. Another interesting benefit of fiber is something known as the second meal effect. This refers to the improved glucose tolerance and reduced blood sugar levels following a meal rich in certain types of fiber, which can positively impact hunger and glucose control at the next meal. By consuming fiber-rich foods, you can enjoy more stable blood sugar levels and reduced hunger, not just immediately after eating, but also several hours later. And that's what I was talking about earlier when I said, even though fiber doesn't have as profound an impact on GLP-1, and GLP-1 has a very short half-life, fiber has this second meal effect for these reasons here, and that I just discussed, that can help sustain the satiety, sustain the fullness, perhaps have less hunger going into the next meal, which could help regulate how much you want to eat at the next meal. So the more often we can bring in high fiber foods, the better we're going to be. What are the benefits of a high fiber lifestyle? Digestive health. High fiber intake promotes regular bowel movements and prevents constipation. Heart health is impacted in positive ways. Soluble fiber can help lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, lower overall body and gut inflammation. Even better, 4 studies reviewing over 7 million subjects found a dose-dependent reduction in the risk of mortality, cancer, and heart disease for those who consume the most fiber. In other words, consistently consuming the most fiber reduced the risk of mortality, cancer, and heart disease. And that's awesome. 7 million people were looked at over 4 meta-analysis studies. Really powerful. Blood sugar control. Fiber slows down the absorption of sugar, helping to stabilize blood sugar levels. We get natural appetite control. While the effects might not be as dramatic as with the drugs, a high fiber diet can still help you manage your appetite and reduce overall calorie intake. So, incorporating more fiber in your diet won't replicate the positive effects of GLP-1 drugs if you're a positive responder to those drugs. But thankfully, with high fiber, you avoid all of the potentially negative effects of the drugs presently known. No one knows for sure what additional negative outcomes await the use, or the users, I should say, of the drugs. It'll probably take years before we know how it's all going to shake out. But I'll go on record mid-2024 and say, in the years to come, based on history, based on historical data and evidence of drugs that have come out over eons of time, with these drugs particularly, with hundreds of millions, maybe 1 billion users in the coming years, there will be serious issues discovered. I'm going on record. There will be serious issues discovered, class action worthy. Enough negatives to outweigh the outcomes, or I should say, enough negatives of these drugs eventually found out to outweigh the consequences of living morbidly obese? I don't know. And contrary to those who live in the certainty world, they claim they have certainty on most everything. I don't. And contrary to those who have that position and mindset, no one knows for sure what the outcome is going to be. But if I'm putting money on it, there will be serious outcome. There will be serious adverse effects that are found in the years to come. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want anyone to get hurt. We'll see. I'm not universally anti-GLP-1 drugs, though. I'm not. I have clients on them. And for some, I support their use in conjunction with a leanness lifestyle to quiet the addictive processed food noise. And I get it. The processed food addiction noise is incredible, and it is relentless, and it drives a compulsion that can really feel insurmountable. And I'm for it for that select group of people, and I'm for it to a certain extent cautiously, to help the people that are suffering the most at the higher end of obesity to achieve a calorie deficit, that they weren't able to otherwise achieve consistently with lifestyle behavior modification alone. So wrapping this up, here's what I want to say, just for everybody. Shoot for 25 to 35 grams of total fiber per day, higher end there on that 25 to 35, better for just everyday intake for everyone, no matter what your deal is, whether you want to lose any weight, don't want to lose any weight, you just want to live healthfully. And again, as those studies that I referenced, indicated, millions of people looked at in meta-analyses and dose-dependent response on mortality, cancer, heart disease being better for those who consume the most fiber. So be in that 25 to 35 gram range, 35 gram range of fiber per day, all in. And if you can, slowly inch it up from there to maybe as high as double that amount. Now, just don't jump in the deep end on day one with 60 grams of fiber. You're likely to be very gassy with your gut, somewhat in knots if you just try to bring it up too fast. If you've been not eating very much fiber and you go to try to get to 60 grams, it could be uncomfortable. Not going to be harmful, but it could be uncomfortable. If you're at 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day and you're still ravenously hungry, consider some of the other factors that I always talk about. What are you eating? Because if you're still indulging in a substance of abuse, processed food-wise, then that's going to drive cravings and hunger galore, even if it's bites, licks, tastes, and sips. So always consider, what are you eating? Are you still eating triggers? If you're still eating triggers, then expect to be ravenously hungry. But if you're getting in 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day and you're still ravenously hungry, and you need more fiber, and you want to get more fiber, consider a supplement. So you don't have to chew another pound of vegetables, to get more fiber in. It's okay. I want you to get, in a perfect world, I want you to get your 25 to 35 grams of fiber from whole, real food. But if you want to supplement on top of that and see how that works for you, not every fiber supplement is going to work the same for everyone on hunger, just like the drugs don't work the same for everyone on what they do, just like pain relievers don't, just like I've been mentioning, right? So you may have to just kind of try out some and see how it goes. Again, I would start kind of low and build up, but go ahead and try a fiber supplement instead of, again, I get it, not wanting to eat another pound of vegetables. Always include plenty of water when you're taking a fiber supplement. Always, always, always get plenty of water. I would take it with at least 16 ounces of water. So by focusing on high fiber, high protein, low calorie foods, remove your triggers at least. Remove the substances of abuse so that you don't get the chronic cravings and the ravenous hunger that's just completely out of control. But by focusing on that high fiber, high protein, lower calorie foods, you can enhance your health in multiple ways, and you can get some natural appetite control. So give fiber serious consideration. It's a darling macronutrient. It is. It's a darling macro. Basically a non-calorie contributing macronutrient, but it is just fantastic. And it definitely feeds the gut and the trillions of bacteria in our gut, when we feed them properly, impacts our health in ways that they're only barely beginning to discover. But our gut is incredibly powerful. And if we're feeding it the right things in prolonged ways consistently, we can get incredibly powerful positive effects from that as well. So get your fiber in. It's a nearly side effect way to support your body. And who knows, you might find it works better than we even expected. Okay? All right, so that's it for this week. Until next time, let's focus on what we want. Let's be grateful for what we already have. And remember, it's all happening perfectly. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye for now.